Hello and welcome to this how-to video, how to configure alerting. I'm Brian Promise, joined today by Steve Plotkin. And in this video, we'll explain to you the concept of an alert policy, step you through how to set one up, and then finish off with that alert policy and really how it's viewed inside of an operational dashboard. So Steve, can you kick things off, give us a little insight on what it means to set up an alert policy and how users use them?
Absolutely, Brian. So in the NMS, we have alerts that are being collected, and as you can see, we have them in various states. Now, in order to be able to get these alerts, we have to build what we call our alert policies, and we go into our policy browser. And as you can see, we have a series of policies in here that have all been enabled and that have what the severity levels it'll alert on. So I can now, if you'd like, go in and create a policy. And we're able to create policies based on varying pieces of information. As you can see here, I will give it a name, test one, and I can use device groups or object groups. For this particular scenario, I'll pick an object group, and I'm going to say that I want it to be all my interfaces. And now, as you know, I want to be able to take it from an object type. So object types are within the types of pollers that I want. And the short way to get to it would be to type in, let's say, an interface, since I am looking for an SNMP interface alert, and I could go to the subtypes, which would then give me the indicators that I would want to alert on or anything specific. So here I'm going to take all subtypes, and over here I'm going to say what kind of condition do I want to have the alert represent. So I can call this a critical. As you can see, it turned to a lighter red. And then we have varying other options which we can get to afterwards, such as email the event, schedule them for testing, and have a trap destination to another management console. As I take this, I then want to know, how should this event get triggered? Like, what is the event that I want to alert on? And here I'm going to create the condition. Now, conditions have changed over the course of time. So here I'm going to show you that I want to take in my high in octets. So the high capacity in octets. Now, the things that have changed that we've normally done in the past is we've built what we call static thresholds. The static threshold is, all right, I want it when it's past 90% or gigabytes or whatever of what we have set as the baseline for a duration of 30 minutes. Well, some of that no longer applies for some higher frequency polling systems or critical systems. We now can take advantage of some of the different components that SevOne provides. So SevOne does baselining of the data. And one of the things we're able to do is we can take a deviation of that baseline. So we've baselined it, let's say, for 70%. And if it goes greater than or lower than one above or below what that baseline is, it will then trigger an alert. And that is some of the newer capabilities that we don't see the customers often take advantage of. The other one that I find to be very important to know about would be the slope time. Now, slope variance will then also take any changes in the variance greater than a percentage and will then send out a message of an alert. So a slope is, again, anything that changes from the baseline, okay? And so slope variances are part of advanced analytics that some people may say, or just analytics that are part of the baseline data that you're normally getting. So we're able to take these information. We're also able to take the time since a newest data point. So we want to change and we want to be alerted if the data point changes. These are now capabilities beyond what the static threshold conversation. One of my favorites is the baseline standard deviation greater than 2, above or below the deviation of standard, and that over 30 minutes on average. I save that, and that has created the alert policy. I save it as new, and now it is in my policy browser, and it just needs to be able to run. I have it here as test. I did save it. Test 1. And as you can see, here it is. And
So,
Brian, that's pretty much where we're at for just triggering a threshold.
okay, so so you've shown us the what it means to configure in example one, and users can create a whole wide variety of policies that make sense for their environment. When it comes to visualizing these alerts, you have any sample reports you can show us of what it would look like from a user
Yes.
perspective?
So we used data insight to show alerts, and we have a simple alert dashboard that simply breaks down by devices or all my devices. And as you can see, I can then summarize them by the individual device by just clicking on it or clicking on the whole thing. And then I get all my devices, number of active alerts, and then the threshold violation.